Hi, this is Rachel Israel with STEM News and Global World Report. We have breaking news that will have a huge impact on the global scene in the very near future. Let's take a look at what's going on around the world.
The year is 2025. Donald J. Trump, defying all expectations and shattering political norms, is back in the Oval Office. His improbable return, fueled by a divided nation and a chorus of grievances, has ignited a firestorm of protest across the United States. The embers of discontent, smoldering since his tumultuous first term and reignited by his recent policies, have erupted into a conflagration. Trump's second act has been anything but subdued. His administration, emboldened by a wave of populist anger and enabled by a Republican Party seemingly purged of dissent, has pushed forward an agenda that has alienated and enraged millions. Executive orders have flown from the Oval Office, targeting everything from immigration to climate change, each stroke of the pen further inflaming the growing divide. The appointment of Elon Musk, the enigmatic tech titan, as head of the newly formed Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, has only added fuel to the fire. Musk's unprecedented access to government data, coupled with his often controversial pronouncements, has stoked fears of an Orwellian surveillance state, further deepening the sense of unease and distrust. The nation, once a beacon of hope and democracy, finds itself teetering on the brink. The stage is set for a showdown. On February 6, 2025, that showdown arrives. February 6, 2025, a day etched in American history. A tidal wave of dissent engulfs the nation. Millions take to the streets in defiance. In Washington, D.C., chants of "Reject Fascism" echo. The Lincoln Memorial becomes a platform for resistance. From the heartland, voices rise in unison. In Columbus, Ohio, chants of "Donald Trump has got to go" echo. Across the country, similar scenes play out. In San Diego, 50,000 bring the city to a standstill. In Austin, Texas, tens of thousands march on the state capitol. This is not just a protest, this is a reckoning. The protests of February 6, 2025, were not just a display of raw emotion. They were a carefully orchestrated symphony of dissent, with each chant, each sign, each slogan carrying a specific message, a targeted indictment of the Trump administration and its policies. No hate, no fear, immigrants are welcome here. The words ring out from 1,000 throats, a direct rebuke of Trump's hardline immigration policies, policies that have sown fear and division across the country. DOGE is not legit. The chant rises from the crowd, a testament to the growing unease with Elon Musk's outsized influence within the government and the perceived threat to personal privacy posed by his Department of Government Efficiency. Why does Elon have your social security info? The question, emblazoned on signs and banners across the country, speaks to the deep-seated anxiety surrounding Musk's access to sensitive government data, a concern dismissed by the administration as fake news, but one that resonates deeply with the protesting masses. The slogans, however, are more than just criticisms. They are declarations of defiance, rallying cries for a nation on the brink. Build the resistance, the protesters urge, their voices filled with a mix of anger and determination. The message is clear. This is not the end, this is just the beginning. Section 4. At the heart of the storm, specific grievances. The protests of February 6th were fueled by a potent cocktail of anxieties and grievances. The administration's rollback of transgender rights has stoked fears of a return to a less tolerant era. In Montgomery, Alabama, protesters denounce what they see as a direct attack on the LGBTQ+ community. Concerns over the administration's ties to far-right groups have contributed to the unease. Protests outside USAID highlight concerns over America's retreat from its role as a global leader. Section 5. Echoes of Dissent, Lasting Impact and Uncertain Future. The protests of February 6, 2025, sent shockwaves through the American political landscape. For the first time in recent memory, the sheer scale and intensity of the demonstrations forced the Trump administration to confront the depth of opposition to its agenda. The images of millions of Americans, united in their anger and defiance, served as a stark reminder that the country is deeply divided, the chasm between the two Americas wider than ever before. Whether these protests will lead to any tangible change, however, remains to be seen. The Trump administration, for its part, has shown no signs of backing down, dismissing the protests as the work of radical leftists and sore losers. The Republican-controlled Congress, seemingly unmoved by the outpouring of anger and frustration, has continued to rubber-stamp the administration's agenda. And yet, despite the uncertainty, despite the challenges that lie ahead, the protests of February 6th offered a glimmer of hope. They served as a powerful reminder that the American spirit of dissent, the belief in the power of the people to hold their leaders accountable, is still alive and well. The fight for the soul of America continues.
Join me as I dive into the heart of the action and challenge myself to attend protests in all 50 states about the Trump situation in 2025. The United States is witnessing an unprecedented wave of protests against Trump, with demonstrations erupting across all 50 states in 2025. The sheer scale and significance of these protests are a testament to the deep-seated frustrations and concerns of the American people in the current political climate. The Trump presidency has been marked by a series of controversial decisions and policies that have sparked widespread outrage and resistance. From threatened healthcare reforms to divisive immigration policies, the list of grievances is long and growing. Many Americans feel that their rights and freedoms are under attack, and they're taking to the streets to make their voices heard. One of the primary drivers of these protests is the perceived erosion of social justice. Racial tensions, gender inequality, and economic disparities have all been exacerbated by Trump's policies, leading to a sense of disillusionment and anger among those who feel marginalized and ignored. The protests are a cry for change, a demand for a more equitable and just society. Furthermore, the Trump administration's handling of economic challenges has also come under fire. Many Americans are struggling to make ends meet, and the growing wealth gap between the rich and the poor has become a source of significant discontent. The protests are a reflection of the widespread feeling that the current economic system is rigged against the average citizen. As I traveled across the country, I spoke to protesters from all walks of life, each with their own unique story and reason for taking to the streets. I heard from mothers who fear for their children's future, from immigrants who feel threatened by Trump's rhetoric, and from workers who are fighting for a living wage. These personal stories are a powerful testament to the human cost of Trump's policies. In cities like New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago, I witnessed firsthand the passion and determination of the protesters. I saw banners and placards that read "Resist and Equality for All," and I heard chants of "This is what democracy looks like." The energy was electric, and it was clear that this was a movement that would not be silenced. One of the most memorable moments of my journey was when I attended a rally in Washington, D.C., where tens of thousands of people gathered to hear speakers like Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. The atmosphere was charged with emotion, and the sense of urgency was palpable. It was clear that this was a moment of reckoning, a moment when the American people were demanding change. As I watched the protests unfold, I couldn't help but feel a sense of awe at the power of the human spirit. In the face of adversity, the American people were standing up, speaking out, and fighting for their rights. It was a truly inspiring sight, and one that gave me hope for the future. The impact of these protests on American society and politics cannot be overstated. They have already led to changes in policy, and they have galvanized a new generation of activists who will continue to fight for change in the years to come. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below. If you're interested in learning more about political activism, be sure to check out my previous video on the subject. And stay tuned for upcoming videos on the protests, as I'll be following the story and bringing you updates from the ground.
Well, that's the news for tonight. Thank you so much for continually supporting our content. If you did enjoy this video, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe and turn on the notification bell, and share this with your friends and family. I'm sure they would find it interesting as well. We're very excited to continue this journey with you. We thank you all for bringing certain stories to our attention, and for continually keeping us updated with certain events around the world.